The year is 1846. The Caribbean Sea has become a graveyard for pirates. The golden age of plunder is fading fast, leaving only the most vicious cutthroats still hunting the waters. On a night when storms lash the coast, a pirate vessel pulls alongside a humble fishing boat. The fishermen barely have time to react before armed men swarm their deck. One crew member rushes to warn Captain Boden, who quickly hides a valuable item in his pocket before rallying his men to fight. But these aren't ordinary raiders. They move with military precision, cutting down the fishermen without breaking stride. Within minutes, Boden is captured and dragged before their leader, a man named Connor. Connor holds up a gold bar bearing his personal insignia. Years of searching have finally paid off. He wants answers. How did a simple merchant captain come across his stolen treasure? Who gave it to him? Before Boden can respond, the pirate quartermaster named Lee discovers the ship's home port, Cayman Brack, a British colony where enslaved people were granted freedom. Connor's eyes narrow with recognition. He orders Boden transferred to his ship. The hunt is far from over. On the island of Cayman Brack, the entire community has gathered inside the small church. They pray for the fishermen who sailed away 59 days ago and still haven't returned. Outside, a woman named Ursel stands alone at the shoreline. The wind whips her dress as she stares at the empty horizon, waiting for her husband Boden to come home. Inside their cottage, Ursel's sister-in-law Elizabeth prepares for a secret visit. Her boyfriend Weston slips through her window under cover of darkness. He's leaving tomorrow, he tells her. Has she decided to come with him? Elizabeth hesitates. She loves him, but leaving everything behind terrifies her. The clanking of bottles outside interrupts them. Ursel has returned through the front gate. Inside, her young son Isaac stirs in his sleep. The boy moves carefully through the house, using ropes strung along the walls for support. His legs don't work like other children's. Ursel notices the unattended food on the stove and calls out to Elizabeth. Then she spots Isaac and gently guides him back to bed. "When's father coming home?" he asks. "Soon," Ursel promises. "He'll be here." Back in Elizabeth's room, she finally agrees to run away with Weston. They'll meet at the cove at first light. A knock at the door. As Weston hides, Elizabeth opens it to find Ursel, who scolds her for neglecting the coconut sweets meant for Isaac's birthday. Elizabeth apologizes. Ursel decides to make a fresh batch. Later that night, the three of them share the sweets together, completely unaware that pirate ships are already approaching their peaceful island. Isaac sits up late, reading a book about pirates. When Ursel checks on him, he confides that something feels wrong. His father promised to return before his birthday, and he always keeps his promises. Ursel explains that the sea doesn't always cooperate with promises. She gives him a small gift, something his father left behind just in case he was delayed. While Ursel bathes later that night, memories of her husband wash over her. In another room, Elizabeth writes a farewell note. The pirates reach the shore, which the first person they encounter is Weston, waiting for Elizabeth at the cove. Morning comes. Elizabeth kisses Isaac goodbye and slips away, leaving her note behind. Ursel wakes to the sound of clanking bottles. Instantly alert, she moves toward Elizabeth's room, but instead of her sister-in-law, she sees dark figures approaching the cottage. She bolts the front door and races to wake Isaac. Years of instinct take over. She opens a hidden trap door beneath the floorboards, grabs a rifle, and lowers her son into hiding. Then she takes position and waits. The door crashes open. A pirate charges in. Ursel hesitates for just a moment, then swings her rifle with brutal force, dropping him. Another attacker rushes to help. She fights back with shocking efficiency, but more keep coming. A pirate named Scout enters with a cold smile. "Oh, where's the money?" he demands. Ursel points to a portrait on the wall. Scout's smile vanishes. "I asked about the gold." "We have none." She lunges for an escape, but they catch her. Scout slams a gold bar onto the table in front of her, the same insignia Connor showed Boden. "Where's the rest?" She won't answer. "Break her bones," Scout orders. "Leave her face alone. We want her recognizable." Connor arrives at Cayman Brack proper. The community leader, a man named Gustav, greets him with forced politeness, asking his business. Connor introduces himself as Captain Francisco Connor. Behind Gustav, his pirates are already fanning out across the island. On the far side, Elizabeth calls joyfully for Weston. She finds his body instead. Pastor Bradley spots Connor and quietly alerts the harbor master. When the harbor master sees the approaching pirates, he blows a conch shell, the warning signal. Citizens rush toward the church for shelter. Gustav's pretense drops. I know exactly who you are. A criminal, a war dog, an enemy of the British Empire. Connor barely reacts. Where's Boden's wife? Gustav refuses to answer. He orders his men to prepare the bulldog cannon, hoping to stop the pirates from advancing inland. They never get the chance. The pirates open fire first. Connor cuts Gustav down personally. Back at Ursel's cottage, she hangs suspended in agony. Her body broken, but her spirit unbroken. The pirates taunt her, drawing knives. One of them discovers the trapdoor. He reaches down for Isaac. Ursel explodes into motion. She breaks free, grabs a dagger, and kills 2 men in seconds. Then another, and another. She moves like someone who's done this before. Like someone trained for exactly this moment. Meanwhile, Connor carves through the island's defenders without mercy. The wounded Gustav makes one last desperate attempt to fire the bulldog cannon. Connor stops him permanently. The pirates swarm inland. Elizabeth watches from hiding, terrified. Connor greets Lee and the rest of his crew. Nobody leaves this island until I have what's mine. Gustav, bleeding out, warns them about the Royal Navy patrols. They know how to handle your kind. Lee's response is ice cold. Only the strongest pirates survive now. Connor asks about the island's distress signal. Gustav laughs at him. Connor gestures toward the church. Fire on it, Gustav breaks. The signal point, it's at the far end of the island. The top of the bluff. Connor executes him with a cannon blast. Scout approaches with his report. They've subdued the woman but found no gold. At the cottage, Ursel covers the bodies and tells Isaac he's safe. She instructs him to pack supplies for 3 days. As he gathers his things, he notices a gold bar on the ground and quietly picks it up. A noise. Ursel raises her rifle, but it's only Pastor Bradley. Are you hurt? He asks. Were they bounty hunters? Worse, she says grimly. How many? An entire crew. Bradley looks at her with knowing eyes. Because Bradley knows the truth, he and Ursel once sailed under Connor. She was his co-captain. You're the only one who can stop him, Bradley says quietly. Captain. Never call me that again. Isaac hands his mother Elizabeth's note. She reads that her sister-in-law has run away with Weston. I can't find my dagger, Isaac says. Ursel retrieves it and straps it onto him. Listen carefully, she tells them both. Head north. Find the tree with the moon-shaped mark. You'll see the creek. Wait there until Elizabeth and I catch up. Then we all go to the bluff together. Come with us, Isaac pleads. I have to save your aunt first. Elizabeth runs through cornfields trying to escape the pirates. Someone grabs her from behind. She struggles until she realizes it's Ursel. They killed everyone, Elizabeth sobs. Weston is dead. Ursel holds her tight for one brief moment. We can't go home. We're going to the creek. Isaac and Bradley are waiting. At the cottage, Lee surveys the damaged Scouts' men left behind. Ian, this is what you call subdued. He orders the men to split up and search. Kill anyone traveling with Ursel. Connor studies the cottage quietly. After a long moment, he speaks. She has a son. The boy is crippled. In the mangroves, Bradley and Isaac find the moon-shaped tree and wait by the creek. Soon Ursel and Elizabeth join them. But not far behind, Connor and his men arrive at the same spot. At the creek, Ursel spots a small basket boat. She pushes Isaac and Elizabeth into it, shoving them off despite their terror. The waters crawl with alligators. She crosses to the other side. Run! The pirates burst through the trees. Bradley gestures for her to go. With visible pain, Ursel retreats. Connor approaches Bradley, calling him by his old pirate name. Bradley meets his gaze calmly. I'm a pastor now. I've found peace. Connor smirks. A man can change his clothes. Underneath, he stays the same. On the far side, Ursel directs Isaac and Elizabeth toward the bluff. She climbs a tree and watches. Connor demands to know where Ursel is. Bradley refuses to answer. Connor shoots him. Then Connor spots Ursel in the distance. His men open fire on the treetops as she runs. Don't kill her, Connor orders. Pirates charge into the creek. Alligators drag several under. The rest push forward, trying to capture Ursel. She fights with brutal precision, dropping them one after another. One pirate breaks through toward Isaac and Elizabeth. Ursel intercepts him and ends him. Connor calls out to her, using her old name. Bloody Mary, she freezes. I know about your family now, he calls. Do they know who you really are? Let's settle this like partners. In response, Ursel decapitates one of his men and throws the head at Connor's feet. Unmoved, Connor proposes a trade. Boden's life for his gold. Meet him at her cottage at dusk. As the pirates withdraw, Elizabeth asks where they're going. The safest place on the island. They reach the bluff. Ursel leads them into caves hidden beneath it. She lights torches, casting long shadows on the ancient walls. Walk carefully, she warns Elizabeth. I've set traps. She opens a hidden compartment in the floor, and they descend into a concealed room. Inside, firearms, supplies, survival equipment. Who was that horrible man? Elizabeth whispers. Connor. He worked for the East India Trading Company before becoming a pirate. How do you know him? Long silence. He attacked my family's ship when I was 12. We were indentured laborers. He took me. Elizabeth struggles to understand. How could a girl survive on a pirate ship? Ursel meets her eyes. I became someone else. Bloody Mary, Elizabeth breathes. Ursel nods. Did Boden know? About your past? Isaac interrupts, holding up the gold bar. This has the same mark as the one at our house. The gold carries Connor's mark. It was supposed to stay buried. I don't know why Boden dug it up. So you're a criminal? Elizabeth asks, shaken. Ursel's gaze doesn't waver. This criminal is your only hope. At the cottage, Scout complains about how many men Ursel killed. Lee dismisses him with contempt. While you were drinking your mother's milk, that skag was a terror. She commanded her own ship alongside Connor until she stabbed him, stole his gold, and vanished. Later, Lee confronts Connor. Is this still about the gold? It is. You can't keep sacrificing men for vengeance. In the caves, Isaac curiously plays with one of Ursel's bombs. She snaps at him to go outside with Elizabeth. Alone, she opens an old chest. Inside, her pirate clothing. She dresses with practiced movements, arming herself for what's coming. She says goodbye to Isaac and Elizabeth. Don't touch anything while I'm gone. She takes a hidden shortcut through a well that leads back toward her cottage. Connor traces the scar on his body, the one Ursel gave him years ago. He approaches Boden. How many of your men has she killed so far? Boden taunts. She's always been formidable. Is that why she put a blade in you? Connor's expression shifts. There was a time we were partners, in every sense. Boden laughs bitterly. You expect me to believe that? Connor raises an eyebrow. She never told you the truth? In the caves, curiosity overwhelms Isaac and Elizabeth. They begin searching through Ursel's belongings. Hours pass. Ursel surveys the pirates surrounding her cottage. She hurls a bomb into their midst and begins her assault. One by one, they fall. She reaches Boden and throws herself into his arms. While she works at his chains, he asks about Isaac and Elizabeth. They're safe, Boden confesses. I took the gold to get help for Isaac, to pay for treatment that might let him walk. Ursel's anger dissolves. I understand. Outside, a pirate whistles for backup. A no-whistle answers. Lee orders a search. Inside, Boden tells Ursel that Connor carries the key. Your past, does it change anything between us? Everything I did then, I did to survive. It changes nothing for me. Softly, my life changed the day I met you. Footsteps approach. Ursel slips a knife into Boden's sash. I'll make the trade. Outside, she's surrounded. Lee steps forward, proud of his new position as quartermaster. Ursel acknowledges him. I always knew you'd rise. One pirate moves toward her. She drops him instantly. Back off or I detonate every bomb I've planted. Connor emerges from the cottage. Miss me? Where's my husband? Where's my gold? Ursel cranks the well. With a groan of old ropes, a chest rises from the depths. Connor frees Boden. But he's not done. We still have unfinished business. Your betrayal. I only took what I was owed. When I found you, you were a frightened girl bound for some Englishman's brothel. I saved you, made you powerful, and you stabbed me and stole from me. Ursel meets his eyes. I aimed for your heart. Boden lunges at Connor with the hidden knife. Ursel triggers explosives. Chaos erupts. Ursel fights Lee in a brutal clash. Through the chaos, she sees Boden losing his fight with Connor. "I yield!" she screams. "Stop!" Connor ignores her. He drives his sword through Boden. Ursel's scream tears through the night. Connor approaches slowly. Ursel grabs a sword. He disarms her effortlessly. "Why?" she demands through tears. "The gold is for my crew. But you? There's a bounty on your head." She triggers another detonator. The chest explodes. Somehow she survives. In the caves, Cad Elizabeth pieces together the truth from old letters. Boden had been a deckhand. They met on Cayman Brack when Ursel was hiding after stealing Connor's gold. She also discovers that Ursel isn't her real name. The real name is foreign, strange, difficult to pronounce. Wounded and bleeding, Ursel limps back toward the caves. Lee rages at Connor. His son is dead because of this obsession. They've lost both the gold and the bounty. He orders the crew to leave. Connor shoots him without hesitation. He addresses the crew. Their quartermaster failed to see Bloody Mary's true value. The golden age of piracy is dying. They once ruled the seas, made kings tremble, lived as their own masters. Now they're hunted like animals. He produces a document, a decree from 3 empires, a lifetime pardon for whoever captures Bloody Mary. Through her, Nyana, we can reclaim our freedom. The crew erupts in cheers. Scout reports finding a hidden passage beneath the well. It might be her escape route. At the caves, Elizabeth cleans Ursel's wounds. With trembling voice, Ursel tells her, "Boden is dead." Elizabeth gently reveals what she discovered, that Ursel isn't her real name. "He took everything from you," Elizabeth says, "even your name." She takes Ursel's hand. "It's time to take it back." Ursel nods. The pirates will reach the caves soon. They must survive until sunrise. Light the signal fire so the British Navy sees the smoke. They set traps throughout the caves. Connor and his crew follow the hidden passage. They spot blood on the vines. She's inside. Ursel tells Isaac and Elizabeth that if anything happens to her, take the catboat to the Big Island. She locks the inner door and prepares. The pirates infiltrate. A pirate turns a winch mechanism. A trap fires. He drops instantly. Others spot Ursel's position and open fire. Elizabeth triggers another trap. Men die in a sudden blast. Ursel fires relentlessly. Connor shoots back. Eventually, the guns fall silent. Elizabeth steps forward cautiously. Scout attacks her. Isaac jumps in to defend her. "Run!" Elizabeth screams. Scout captures her, but she triggers another trap. Rising, she snatches a chain from him. "This never belonged to you." Ursel cuts through the remaining pirates. She finally locks eyes with Connor and runs. Outside, Isaac has pushed the boat to sea. "She lit the signal," he calls. But Connor lit it himself. He tells Ursel the truth. He ignited the signal so the British Navy would see the smoke and realize the island harbored a criminal. His valiant crew died bringing her to justice. He'll be the hero. They clash in a brutal duel. "Surrender!" "Never!" Elizabeth fires at Connor. He falters for a split second. Ursel seizes the moment. She grabs a sword and drives it through him. He collapses, whispering, "My Mary!" Then he's gone. Elizabeth rushes to Ursel and embraces her. Finally, Ursel speaks her true name, Mayam. Out at sea, Isaac discovers the chest of gold aboard the boat.